E6, the Ark of Napishtim, is the payoff for playing the older games, and gives us answers for the overarching story of all East titles until now. For the most part, we were given more questions than answers. Who are those winged people? Why are they so powerful? Why do they have wings? Where did they obtain all this knowledge? What is the Black Orb? Why don't they get old? Who are the Darklings? What did they do? Napishtim finally gives us answers. What it doesn't give us is better gameplay. It is practically a mixture of Ys origin and Felghana. The region it plays in is from all of them the most interesting one. It plays on the island of Canaan. It's a circle-shaped island surrounded by a vortex that causes most ships to crash. They are native inhabitants and a city built by survivors of the shipwrecks over the years and tension between those groups. There's of course the boring stuff that you find in all these titles. A mountain, ruins, underground areas, and you know the score. But contrary to the other games besides Celceta, it does not feel like those places are just there for the gameplay. They are deeply interwoven with the story and lore, and that does make this game so much more interesting. I will omit a lot, so the story synopsis is more engaging, and I will provide a huge lore dump at the end. The story starts with Adel being stranded and unconscious again. He fell from a pirate ship and is found by Isha, a native of these islands, with a tail and long ears. They call themselves Reda and we are taken to a bed in their village for us to heal. The village chief Ord is not amused by this. Recent tensions and the disappearance of an important artifact makes him suspect and cautious of any outsider. Olha, the village priestess and Isha's sister, still insists and Adel can stay. After his recovery, we can start exploring the forest. We find out that the bridge between the humans and the Reda has been destroyed, and this only increases Ord's suspicions of the humans. The artifact they stole was a mirror said to contain the soul of their goddess Alma, and it has been passed down from priestess to priestess. We cannot do anything about this, so we resume our exploration. We find Isha when a monster bursts out from some ruins. We save her but lose our sword in the fight. Ord apologizes for his rude behavior and now trusts Adel. He gives us a special sword, made from emelas, that will not break and is better suited for defeating the monsters of this island. We are asked to search for the mirror if we come across it on our exploration, and we are told that those ruins the monster came from are probably connected to the other part of the island, where the humans live. As we travel through the ruins, we meet Geis, who wants to open a door we are also unable to open. He heard from Adel the Red and suggests a duel. We lose that duel because Geis is super overpowered, and Adel, after all of his adventures, lost again all his gear and abilities. I didn't bring this up before, but it seems to be appropriate here, because this game references Adel's other stories. Adel obtains powers beyond man in his journeys, and the best equipment possible, and loses all of this when he starts a new journey. This is never explained, and I think that is even preferable than having arbitrary explanations that tickle the borders of insanity, like Adel starting each adventure having amnesia, or in prison, or stranded. I prefer having no explanation over Adel being a screw-up whenever the player does not control him, but that is mostly due to the tone of the games, which are overall more serious than funny. I could see an alternative version of the Ys games that are made with comedy in mind, where Adel just wastes everything before each adventure, but this cannot fly in the overarching story of the games as they are now. So Geis, after beating us, leaves and says we should not put our nose where it does not belong. We don't even know what that means and he does not elaborate. We resume through the ruins and arrive shortly before Port Rimorge. We talk to some workers who give us a basic understanding of the town. A trader named Baslam founded the town and uses the stones from the ruins to build the houses, which is one of the reasons that there is tension between the Reda and the humans. Baslam wants to find a way into Samith Island. He thinks that on that island, which is the center of the Canaan Islands, is a way to remove the vortex. And by removing the vortex it will allow outside trade. We will do that anyway, but first we meet a familiar face. Raba, the historian from East 1, is here. He's investigating the ruins and took in a disciple named Ur, who has gone missing. Adel tells him, and the player, that he didn't just fell from a pirate ship, but that the pirates got attacked by the Roman fleet. Raba, despite being stranded here, is pretty happy as a schooler, because there are so many ruins on the island. From all we know from the Ys games, there are ruins absolutely everywhere. Ur is near the mountain and we decide to go there. We find him in peril and save him. Ur mentions an altar on the top of the mountain, which sounds interesting enough for us to go there. Besides the altar, there is a mirror fragment and a fairy homunculus, who summons a boss we have to beat. The fairy also mentions that it stole the mirror, and we find a red sword, which gives us new powers. We go back to the village and Ur arrived without problems. He suggests returning the mirror fragment to Olha. On our way we meet Isha on the strand, who says she has visions of the future, which never really becomes relevant. Then we move to the Reda village and deliver the mirror fragment to Olha, who's pretty happy about it. With our new sword we proceed to the obligatory ruins section with another mirror fragment. We meet another fairy who also summons a boss and then fucks off. After this, we arrive on Semeth Island. It's a tranquil place where a disembodied voice from an altar tells us that she wants to award us because we saved her brethren on other journeys. The reward is the last sword. On our way back we meet Geis again, who walks up to the altar. We follow and he placed some talismans on the round-shaped objects. Then comes one of the stupidest dialogues I have ever read. Geis tells us that we should not remove the talismans because we can't be that stupid. He does not tell us anything else, besides saying it's to keep some pests away, which nudges the player to think about the fairies, but at this point we have no information about Geis, or on what side he is, or what the talismans even do really. For all we know, he could be one of the big bad of this game. Geis sounds like a child, writing a note which says, "Whoever reads this is stupid," and then snags at someone reading it. Why should that keep us off from removing the talismans? Geis actually has a lot of information about what is going on and he tells us nothing. He doesn't tell Adel specifically, someone Geis knows is a force for good and very capable from his previous journeys. Working with him should be the best course of action. For a possible reason, I want to point out that the problem with this game is tied to his family, and Geis probably thinks he has to do this alone to redeem himself. This argument is however hollow and dangerous, if people's lives are on the line. Imagine a firefighter who insists on working alone because of the same reasons, while people are locked in a large building and he refuses help from other firefighters. For now we do as he says and travel back to the port. We inform Balsam as well as Raba that we found a way to Semeth Island. We deliver another fragment and then go to the next location, where we have an underwater segment and another fairy boss mirror combo. Dogi then delivers his trademark boulder punch and we reunite. Dogi and the pirates are happy to see Adel and want to dock at the port for ship repairs. Then we move to Reda village and deliver the last mirror fragment. We get a vision through the mirror. Baslam and Raba are on Semeth Island and they remove the talismans. Because of course they do. If they are so important, surely someone would have put a sign or warning there instead of just placing that shit, right? This causes the fairies to unseal the place, which causes the vortex to subside. The Roman fleet takes its chance and occupies the town, to the disapproval of Baslam. Not only that, but they also attacked Reda village to obtain toys for his majesty. In other words, slaves. With the help of a pirate, we save the Reda. We also kill a giant frog and free Olha. Then the admiral arrives, but is killed by Geis. Isha has been abducted by the second in command Ernst, who is Geis' brother. He's a darkling and the one who created the fairies through alchemy, which means he's Frida's fiancé from Ys 4. Ernst uses a black sword and Isha to summon the Ark of Napishtim, and along with it, a monster that destroys the Roman fleet. Ernst then moves into the Ark, and we follow through a passage. Isha, as the priestess, helps us by summoning an insect which the game calls a wyvern. I know there is a lot of wyvern interpretation, but this one is very abstract. Geis wants to come with us as a hitchhiker. We defeat a mid-boss after Geis uses a one-person elevator, and on top we find him again, wounded and apologetic. We fight Ernst, save Isha and destroy the Ark of Napishtim. And thus the game ends. So what was that all about? We found 5 tabulas. That, as well as the ending dialogue, combines to the full picture. Thousands of years ago, there was an ancient, advanced civilization called Eldin. Those people learned how to craft emelas. They could craft red, blue, gold, white and black emelas. Red, blue and gold each have the element of fire, wind and lightning, while the black Immelars have all the attributes and are insanely powerful. The white Immelars can control the black ones, and if you try to use black Immelars without having white, it creates demons like in Ys 1 and 2. The people of Eldin made white Immelars and transformed them into wings, which gave them power and immortality. Then a golden age for Eldin came. They invented strong devices like the Ark of Napishtim, which was used to control the weather of the sea and land. It also has a personality, loyal to the Eldin akin to an AI. That's why we needed to fight it, because it was awake and decided to destroy all the human civilizations, because they killed the Eldin through their actions. First, thousands of years ago, when humans learned from Eldin how to craft red, blue and gold Immelars. But humans were greedy and wanted to craft black and white Immelars, but Eldin refused to teach them. They tried to produce black Immelars, but all they got was ash Immelars. They then stole the key for the Ark of Napishtim, which was the sword Ernst had. The Ark went berserk and flooded the Atlas continent and destroyed the Eldin civilization. The survivors, like Fina, Ria or Eldil, then searched for new places to settle in and helped humans with their magic. Fina and Ria, for example, bought the Black Pearl with them. But the humans who tried to steal their secrets were persistent. They called themselves Darklings and in the end fought against Fina, Ria and Eldil, and so brought the other countries that the Eldin have founded to ruin again. And so the Ark decided they all have to perish. Alma, another Eldin, who was referred to by the Reda as their goddess, sealed the Ark and so saved the world. The Darklings in Celceta tried to better their wrongs, but a small group has gone off, inspired by past glory and greed. They attacked Eldil and now try to control the Ark. Geis followed his brother so he can prevent him from doing that. I am pretty sure that in Celceta they said the older brother was the reasonable one, but maybe that's a translation error. This almost gives answers to everything brought up in the game so far, and it's incredible how Ys 6 ties all of these storylines together. Ys 5 was only referenced once, by a single word, and so I feel validated in skipping it. Ys 6, while having probably the worst combat of the Napish systems, has the best story. I rank it slightly below Celceta, and that's only because I prefer the party system and the improvements it brought. They combined bringing back old characters and a new story by solving old questions. Best story so far. Farewell.